Hello and welcome to the video for the chapter 29's grammar section. So this chapter doesn't necessarily cover any new grammatical constructions. They're just giving you some new vocabulary that perhaps you have seen in the past, and now they're going to expect you to be able to recognize it in different declensions and different genders. So these words are in the pronoun box for the chapter 29 vocabulary. You have alter, altera, and alterum, one or the other of two or a second. So these are concerning a pair. Uter, utra, and utrum are going to be which of two. You can just translate it using which. And utrum on is a type of question. You can see, because they have the question marks, that these are both going to be used with questions. So whether or, depending on the context, you might be able to flip that around a little bit to make it make sense in English. So those are pretty much the new grammatical things that they are introducing in chapter 29. Your academia story is rather lengthy, so I have posted the comprehension questions to that. And then I did not require you to do the second story, Marcus Epistolum ad Turonem Scribet. It concerns Marcus, the son of Cicero, writing a letter to Tiro, whom you'll remember is Cicero's bestie. If you want to go ahead and read that, you are more than welcome to, but there's not an assignment over it. The culture for this chapter is about Stoicism and Epicureanism. What I'm going to do for your extra credit assignment for this semester is allow you to choose one of two topics to write a brief one-page paper about. So the prompt, you'll have the choice of two prompts. One will be about Stoicism and or Epicureanism, and the other one will be about Julius Caesar. So if you're more into history, you can write about Caesar. If you're more into like philosophy and liberal arts stuff, then you can choose to write about these different philosophies, these two philosophies. And those will be posted by the beginning of this coming week. So let's look at the grammar, which I skipped over. Okay. This is page 138, alter, uter, and uterque. Because so many things come in pairs, eyes, hands, arms, legs, etc., Latin has a special set of pronouns used with pairs. They all in the genitive singular are going to have ius, and in the dative singular I, long I, as their endings for all genders. So alter, altera, alterum, one or the other of two. For example, in one hand, the boy was carrying a book, in the other, a pen. So in one hand, altera manu, in the other, altera, a pen. Notice that they do not repeat manu the second time. That is understood. Just like in English, you don't have to repeat hand again for it to make sense. In Latin, they don't repeat it either. Notice that altera agrees with manu in both instances, though. It's ablative singular feminine because manu is feminine in one hand and the other. Two men entered the forum. One was young, the other old. Here you have alter and alter. Because this is, English really would call for a colon here rather than a semicolon. And that would make a little more sense to have the nominative singular for both of those, I think, but hopefully you can get the gist. So they're both going to be nominative singular using the same verb, erat. So again, Latin's not going to repeat that verb, just like English won't. One was young, the other old. But they're both nominative singular masculine, agreeing with eumenus and senex. Uter, utera, and utrum, which of two? So this is going to be for questions. In which hand was he carrying the book? In which hand? Notice you don't have the word in Latin, but you do have utra manu in the ablative case. So you can assume that in is going to be an acceptable translation. In which hand was he carrying the book? The neuter utrum is used in double questions followed by on, which means or. So will you stay in the city or will you return home? In this type of translation, the utrum is not necessarily translated, but it indicates to you that you're going to have a question with two options in it. It's fine to do it that way. You can do it literally, which of these two things, to set it up to indicate that you know what utrum means, but just rendering it as a question with two options is going to be fine for our purposes. Are you writing your letter to Tiro or to your father? Again, the utrum's not translated there, and it's fine. It's just an indication to you as a reader that you're going to have a question with two options. And note that some of these initial words indicate that you know the answer to the question in advance. They're like rhetorical questions. Utrum isn't like that. So utrum is a neutral, sort of like, I'm asking you because I need this information. Uterque, utraque, and utrumque, each of two. So he was carrying books in each hand. Each there is a fine translation. You don't necessarily need the of two. So fuerebat manu utraque libros. Again, remember that que is going to be indeclinable. Your ending is going to change that letter before the que part. And that's why utra agrees with manu, again, because manu is feminine and it's going to be ablative. He was carrying books in each hand. Both Scintilla and Horatia missed Flaccus very much. When he returned, each was very happy. So here you have utraque in the nominative singular because each is going to be singular. Remember that, that's true in English as well. And you have a singular verb, each was very happy. Be careful about each. Please don't do each as both, even though that makes sense. You need to maintain that singularity. It's probably not the right use of singularity, but that singularness in your translation. Okay, I spent a little more time on that one this time because there's not a Latin tutorial video over these pronouns. So I hope that was helpful. Now we're going to go over 29.1, decline in the singular for all cases, alter amicus and ultra manus. I'm going to switch over to a Word document. This is in your grammar assignment for the chapter. So if you just want to type along, or you can write it down and send me a picture of that, that would be great. I'm going to start a new share. Okay. Chapter 29 grammar starts on page 139. So we're going to decline these two noun adjective pairs. Alter, and I believe also ultra, or declined for you on page 154. So the easiest thing to do would be to look at that and type out the singulars. So let's do that first. I'm going to bold this to know that that is what we're working with. Okay, computer's being a little slow. So we have alter in the nominative singular. The genitive singular is alterius. The dative singular is alteri. Accusative singular is alterum. And the ablative singular is altero. Now, these are all masculine, the masculine endings, because amicus is masculine, right? So they need to agree in case number and gender. So alter amicus is our nominative singular. Alterius, and then what would be the genitive singular for amicus? The amici, because it's, remember that amicus is second declension. The dative alteri would be amico. The accusative alterum amicum. And the ablative singular amico. Okay. So again, we have Altair. We got some help from page 154 because these forms are a little bit different than what we have seen, especially in the dative. And then amicus, we declined like a second declension noun that is masculine because that is what it is. Okay, moving on to ultra manus. Manus is fourth declension, so yay for that. And what gender is manus? If you remember, fourth, this is one of those fourth declension words that is feminine. So we need to look at the ultra declensions that are feminine. So we've got ultra, ultrius. That genitive singular is going to be the same in all genders, across all genders. Ultri, ultrum, excuse me, ultram because it's feminine, and then ultra with a long A for the ablative. Okay, so going back to manus, so you've got ultra manus. The genitive fourth declension singular form is going to be manus with a long U. Ultri, your dative is going to be manu. E. And then your accusative form is going to be manum. And your ablative singular is going to be manu with a long U. Just trying to check as I went along to make sure that I didn't tell you something that was not correct. Okay. So again, you can use your Altair and Utair declensions on page 154 to check yourself on your cases. Okay. On 29.2, we are going to translate, I think 5 through 8. The directions are just to simply translate the sentences, so we'll do that. Number 5 says, Alter ego inquit cupio in academia studere, tres annos Athenas manebo. I believe this is Quintus talking to some dudes that he runs into. So one of them says, or said, either way, I want to study in the academy. You could also say at the academy, that's fine. I will remain in Athens for 3 years. So in that second sentence, you have a future, which you can tell because the verb is manebo, bo is the future, and tres annos is accusative, so you have accusative of duration of time, and then Athenas is simply going to be ablative of place where. So I will remain in Athens for 3 years. And your verbs in that first sentence were just present. Number 6. Quintus mihi quoque propicitum, which means intention, est inquit in academia studere, cuius scholas audire cupis. So Quintus says, it is, here you have like an impersonal verb with intention. So it is my intention. You can translate mihi as my, or it is the intention for me, is my intention. Also, quoque, to study in the academy. And then he's asking a question, whose lectures do you want to hear? So this chapter is giving us some kind of reviews over stuff that we have had recently. Here you've got use, remember, as our ablative form of qui quod. So whose lectures do you want to hear? Number 7, Ile, that guy, says, Nestus. I want to hear especially. You can flip that order around if you would like to. So I especially want to hear Theum Nestus. Qui, who, ut dicunt, as they say. This is an idiom that gets used a lot, ut dicunt, as they say, is the optimus doctorum, is the best of the teachers. So this is a partitive genitive. So out of the teachers, he is the best. That's why doctorum is genitive plural. So you could say best out of the teachers if you wanted to make it make more sense to you, that's fine. And then number 8, Quintus says, sine dubio. Without a doubt. Should probably be capitalized, that's fine. I will see you in the academy. Videbo is a simple future. I will see you, te in the accusative, in the academy. And for ego, I will be, I will be adero. I will be, you could say present, I will be here, I will be there, I will be present. At those, let's do it that way. At those, no, at the lectures of that teacher. Okay, so a eustem is going to be genitive, which agrees with doctorus, which is also genitive. So I will be at the lectures, the scholies of that teacher, a eustem doctoris. So he's referring here to the amnestus that this other guy was saying he wanted to listen to. You could say at the lecture, so that makes a little more sense. Okay. 29.3. We are going to, this is pretty much a review of all grammar. We're going to give the proper, the proper declension for the noun as its function in the sentence. And then we're going to translate. We'll probably have to translate first in order to figure out how the word is functioning in the sentence. So number 5, a young man led him out of the atrium. So atrium is what we have to fix, out of the atrium. Oops. To the study of Theum Nestus, who, I'll do that thing where I want to type out the line, who received him kindly. So if it's out of the atrium, we've got X as our preposition. So in order to make atrium the object of that prepositional phrase, it needs to be atrio, because it needs to be ablative. Number 6. After midday, post Meridius. After midday, Quintus saw a group or a band of young men. So we've got a monem, UNM. Monem is accusative, UNM is genitive plural. Among whom, or among those, was Marcus Cicero. His old drunken friend. Okay, so Merides is one of the words that we need to decline. Post is governing it, so it's going to be Meridiem. It's going to need to be accusative to agree with post or to be governed by post. And then qui is one of our things we also have to fix. So qui will then become an accusative form because we needs to be governed by inter. So it's going to be accusative, singular, and masculine. So we'll have quem. And 2 more. Number 7, Ille, that guy. Oh, Cat is coming to help. That happy guy, Ille Litus. Greeted Quintus. And asked him, Rogawit eum, about everything which was happening at Rome. At Rome or in Rome. Oh, the kitty is being so helpful right now. Okay, so we are doing omnia, de omnia, about everything. So de is a preposition that takes the ablative. So we need, and omnia is going to be neuter. So neuter, ablative, plural. Oh man, my cat is really doing help here. Neuter, ablative, plural. It's going to be omnibus. Okay, I think I put the cat away. Okay. Number 8. Quintus told everything to him. Told everything omnia ae to him and exposed what it calls them and explained a reason the reason for which or because of which his father had sent Miserat him Aum to Athens. No. Okay, to Athens. We know it's going to be to Athens because Athenos is accusative. He's sending him to Athens. Miserat had sent, ERA equals had equals pluperfect. So we're dealing with qui again, propter, the reason for which his father had sent him. And the reason for which his father had sent him to Athens. Right, okay. So qui qui is just going to remain qui because we need a neuter. I'm going to look that up and make sure that a qui is actually the thing that we need. Oh, goodness. Yeah, neuter plural nominative is going to be Quay. The reasons which his father had sent him to Rome. Okay, okay. That concludes the sections that are on your assignment for this chapter. Like I said, there's not a whole lot, grammatically speaking, that's different. So what you could take this week and do is review things like the future tense or anything else that was a little bit confusing or you don't feel like you have a handle on. This is a good week to kind of pause and recollect before we head into the last chapter, which is about passes, and that will be our last grammatical point before the final.